Okay.
Good, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to council Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. Call the meeting to order at 4 p.m. Hope everybody had a great, cold, long weekend here in Northwestern Ontario. And as always, we remind everybody to turn off your mobile devices to silent or off so we can get into the meeting. Last council, any additions or deletions to the agenda today? Hearing none. And we have our CAO streaming live with us in regards to the meeting today. With that being said, I have a motion here that council hereby sets the agenda for Tuesday, 24th of May, 2022, regular meeting of council circulated as amended. Moved by Council Lake, second by Council Suki. All in favor? Sorry. It was good. Thank you. Any disclosure of interest today in regards to the meeting? Very none. I do have a motion that council hereby adopts the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Monday, May 9th, 2022, and the closed meeting of council held on Monday, May 9th, 2022, as circulated or amended. Moved by Councilor Valens, second by Council Lake. Any questions, errors, or omissions of those meetings? Hearing none, I'll call a question. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Up next, we have our student council reports. Councillor Kavner, Councillor Mistick's not here today, so Councillor Kavner, give us an update, please.
Yes, so we had a grad meeting on May 19th. We discussed community hours, the bursaries that were going to be given out, valedictorian nominees, and plans for the graduation ceremony. SGDSB is starting safe arrival calls today. So if the student has missed a class throughout the day, the parent or guardian will receive an automated call informing them of any classes that their child has missed. They'll start at 3:30 every day, and if there are any questions or concerns, parents or guardians are advised to contact the principal. Soccer teams are going to be traveling to Wawa, leaving at 4 today and returning on Thursday evening. And future grade 9 students at SDDSB high schools can earn a credit this summer through a summer learning program, and more information will be given out shortly.
Great, thanks. Anybody have any questions, Councillor Kavner? I do, if you don't mind. So that new program they're starting in regards to notification of parents, is it just like a quick text or is it an actual call?
It's a call, but it's like automated.
Right.
So it's like an actual person.
Okay, so it's just identifying your child's not in this class, and so there's no response needed by parents, or just to making the parents aware that their child is not there?
It's mostly for awareness. The parent isn't required to respond.
Okay. Good. Councillor Lake?
And yeah, maybe just one other, this is more for Councillor Mitchell was going to talk about this today. The administration, when we were talking, suggested maybe student counselors could take on a project. So the project that they've taken on, and again, mostly it's Councillor Mitchell is working with my geography class, is around land acknowledgements.
Okay.
So the document for land acknowledgements is almost done. It's going to go to Councillor Kavner and Councillor Mitchell. They're going to take it to the Beatdagon Youth Council, which is kind of the equivalent of what Councillor Kavner and Councillor Mitchell are, and then they'll bring it to the Mayor and Council.
Good.
So just so folks know that's going on, and probably Mr. Mitchell, that's kind of been the point, but Councillor Kavner as well. If you have comments, or probably you're the person to come see once that document is handed off to you.
If you don't mind, what do you think the timeline might be in that regard?
The Beatdagon Youth Council meets Wednesday in the high school.
Okay.
So I was hoping to have the document to Councillor Kavner today. The class did not finish the work that they needed to do, so it'll be in Councillor Kavner's hand by the end of the week. Hopefully Beatdagon Youth Council by Wednesday, and hopefully the week after that, it would be completed and they could present it to council in June. I think the last council meeting would be June 14th.
For the students, yeah.
So by that will be that.
Okay. Yeah, we have a potential meeting for with BN as our council meetings in June as well. So that'd be a great opportunity to speak on that.
We should.
If possible.
We can promise. We can commit to having that, and then you can talk it. And then maybe the two councillors could present that at that joint council.
That'd be good.
You know what? Sometimes you need a deadline, Your Worship.
Well, thank you for that. Absolutely. So I'm
deadline
glad you
would-
used your
A deadline would be good for
your
us.
authority over there at the school for that. I appreciate that. But that would be great if they would make the presentation together at the joint council meeting if the timelines allow, and then they can come and join us for dinner and discussion and let them also see how we communicate about different things happening in each of our communities.
Do you think Councillor Kavner could invite the Beat the Gun Youth Council maybe to attend as well?
Well, both that, I would
Yeah.
imagine both councils be there, both youth council representation should be come for dinner with us and listen to what we're talking about and have a dialogue if they'd like to.
Okay.
Right? So I think we could do that, CEO Skowczyński?
Yeah, that would be a great agenda item. We're working on the date right now, and as soon as I have that, I'll forward it along.
Great, thank you for that. That'd be awesome. Thanks for the work, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, up next, we have administration report, the report of 22 final tax levy. Mr. Verbo.
On April 25th, the 2022 budget was approved by bylaw 2023. Last council meeting on May 9th, the tax ratios for 2020 was passed with bylaw 2025. Bylaws require specifying the tax rate by property class. The rates are attached to Schedule A. There's one caveat on the education rate. The province maintained an education rate of 0.0098 for properties whose payment in lieu are retained by the municipality. This is higher than the other properties of 0.0088. An example of education tax that the municipality can keep instead of transferring it to the school boards is taxes paid by the Canada Post. But in 2021, council approved the write-off of $156 as the federal government has decided not to pay the higher rate. So the final outlines for the financial implications are detailed in the bylaw. The options are approve the 2022 final levy of taxes or approve the 2022 final levy of taxes with amendments. Just a note that graduated rates or banding has been removed, the reference has been removed from the bylaw because there's only one property in a large industrial class. So administration recommends that option A be approved and that bylaw 2027 adopting the final levy of taxes be approved as presented.
Great, thanks for the report. Everybody's got a copy of that, so we can take a look. I have a motion here that council hereby accepts the attached report recommendation of 2022 final levy of taxes and further that the appropriate bylaw be presented later in the meeting and adopting the final 22 levy of taxes for the town of Marathon. Moved by Councillor Powell, seconded by Councillor Lake. Any questions? Just a comment more than anything, and I know when we discussed it, we met with MPACT, and once they roll out the 2024 reassessment, they will try to come and have meetings. So that's going to be a good opportunity for residents to get more understanding about how their levies and their assessments are going to be done by MPACT. And we encourage MPACT to come to the municipality and have an open house, maybe at the theater or something, so people can come and ask them directly. So we'll see how that goes. No other questions of that? All in favor? Gary, thank you. Thanks for that report. Up next, we have a couple of motions here in regards to the check runs. This one here for the check run of April 22, check runs for approval of payments in the amount, council payable in the amount of $3,507,156.67 and payroll in the amount of $158,636.11. Moved by Councillor Brown, second by Councillor Lake. Any questions of those check runs? Do not call question on favor. Gary, thank you. Councillor Lake's going to give us an update in regards to the DSAB activity over the last month. Councillor Lake.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the DSAB meeting was long and uninteresting, but the one thing that was in the meeting, and I do think it's worth talking about, is there was a report on local housing providers that are in distress. And it included two municipalities, so Red Rock Public Housing and Geraldton Public Housing. In the case of Geraldton, DSAB board members have had to step onto the board to make sure it keeps going. So the thing that became clear is, lots of the housing and lots of the programs that are run by the DSAB are in Thunder Bay, but the housing groups that are starting to come into distress are the municipalities. So it's I just wonder, and probably Your Worship, you can speak to this better than I can. how do we ensure that our nonprofit housing is healthy? How do we make sure that the board is doing well? How do we support them so that it doesn't fall into that place of distress, and then the board needs to fix it up at the DSEB level. So I just realized that, I don't have a lot of history with Marathon nonprofit housing. But I don't know what mayor and council can do to sort of support that organization so that we don't end up in that sort of distress.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the update. In regards to, does anybody have any questions, Councilor, on DSAB report? As far as the housing portfolio in Marathon, obviously I worked there for a long time, and the board has a good policies in regards to the capital fund reserves and those things. And over the 26 or so years I worked there, we were able to do all the replacement of the capital cost, roofs and doors and windows, the siding. So this property is in good shape.
Yeah.
But that's governance model, right? So I think that, and no criticism against either of the two other communities you mentioned, but it's governance. So you have to make sure that, you're doing the right thing, and you take those concerns you have if there's any troubles within the organization, specifically back to DSAP. Because there are dollars, and there have been benchmark dollars have been submitted to all communities that have housing portfolios. So I think that's the key, is if those communities or any of the boards get in trouble, they should be reaching out to DSAP sooner than later.
Yeah, and my sense is in those communities, it's been attracting and retaining board members.
Right.
That's been the issue. So, and I know as you look into some of the community service groups, even a Marathon, it's harder and harder to attract and retain volunteers. So just, again, it's probably another one of those groups that we want to support and maybe have some sort of strategy around recruitment of board members and volunteers within the community.
Yeah, that's a hard battle. We talked about that as from our police service board, about attracting young professionals within the community to bring that perspective back. This board is no different. It's struggling, but it's been consistently having consistent members over time.
Okay. So
they've been able to have a decent structure set up so that there's no big changeover. But at the same time, there is a struggle, not just Marathon, anywhere with
everywhere.
that. And volunteers will not step. So the boards have to look at how do we have some sort of incentive. And it's as simple as sometimes just a matter of allowing those boards to compensate their members for that. Maybe the volunteerism part of it's going to be gone away from now, going forward into a compensation package to attract board members. Then you're attracting more professional people within your community as well, because they're willing to give their time up and say, okay, I'm willing to give a half a day up, but I'm going to be compensated for that half a day. Still bring my expertise to the board, but yet I'm not going to lose money for my business or my workplace. We've been talking about that for years, and I'm going to a police services AGM. I brought that up probably 10 years ago when I looked around the table, and everybody, and it's no criticism because everybody around the table at the time was retired.
Yeah.
We're not bringing a wide range of the community's perspective to a table when everybody who's sitting at the table was retired.
Yeah.
You need somebody who's 25, somebody who's in the system, somebody who's utilizing the system, somebody within the community that's bringing a benefit financially, business model, all those things, right? So, yeah, it's a battle. Thanks for that report.
Thank you.
Up next, we have a bylaw number 2026 being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 1890 being a bylaw to regulate, provide this for the storage, handling, collection, and disposal of waste, recyclable materials within the municipality of Marathon. We read it first, second, and third time. Finally passes 24th day of May, 2022. Moved by Councilor Reynolds, second by Councilor Lake. Any questions of that bylaw? Councilor Lake?
The sole change is the time on Saturdays. Is that, as I read it? And we've had good feedback? Okay.
Yeah, so that's the difference in our system. Our system will remain Tuesday and Thursday from 2 till 6, Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. so that more people can utilize the system, whether it's recycling, yard waste, or domestic waste. So thanks for that. Anybody have any more questions? Councilor Sugi?
I haven't paid attention, but I'm guessing the signage has been changed. Okay, every time I drive by, I see people like slowing down at 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Good, thanks for that. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Up next, we have bylaw number 2027 being a bylaw to adopt the final levy of taxes for the year 2022 and for the collection of said taxes to be read a first, second, and third time and finally passes 24th day of May 2022. Moved by Councilor Reynolds, second by Councilor Lake. Any questions? there's a prime example of efficiency counseling. As you recall, we used to do this in two different systems.
That's true.
Read it the first, second time, and then move it to the third time. And by incorporating first, second, and third time reading, you're taking away a lot of extra time and energy.
Yep.
So that's, things could be more efficient in any board or organization if you just put your mind to it. Kaizen, I think, is the Japanese term for more improvements or
Yeah.
improvements of all the time. So, yeah. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. Up next, we have a request from a local resident, Barb McGill, seeking the municipality raise the pride flag for the town at the town offices. And the motion is that, and for the administration be directed to follow the past practice and the town's flag policy when assisting or arranging in flag raising ceremonies. So because we have all the flag poles now occupied, we'll have to figure out how that is adjusted with that raising of that flag for that time. Okay, so move by Councillor Lake, second by Councillor Bounds. Any other questions?
Yeah, can I just add?
Sure.
In conversation with Barb, she just asked if anyone from council would like to attend, to just come on out. And I believe she is inviting the student bodies of a few of the schools, so. I don't know if that was mentioned in the email or anything, but yeah, so if any of the councilors can be there, I'll be there obviously for it. And
Yeah, certainly, and maybe administration can send out a memo that we put in our calendars, but it's June the 8th at 11:30 a.m. here at the town hall. And, but that would, yeah, we can either all put it in ourselves, but it'd be nice to have that sent to us and put in our calendars.
The other group that I wonder about including or at least sending a message to is, and Councillor Catherine could probably correct me, but I believe we have a Gay Straight Alliance at the high school. It would be nice to
Invite
send a
them over.
message to that community and see if they would
Absolutely,
come support as well.
it should be. For sure. So are we gonna have administration send that over?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anything else? All in favor? Barry, thank you. Well, before we adjourn, we have that was a very quick meeting today, 12 minutes, great, 13 minutes. I just want to take the opportunity to thank residents for coming out through the pitch-in day. It wasn't as well as attended as was in the past, but I want to give my hats off to Phil's Pumping because they supported it, and of course Tim Hortons donated a lot of stuff, bags and donuts and Timbits, whatever, and coffees for people going out. But we have to, going back to the volunteers and whether it's board structure, or people in our community, we have to encourage people to take pride within the community and get out. We used to really have like hundreds of people come out. Now it's tens of people coming out. And that's not really appropriate for a community within, we're not asking you to do a lot. We're asking you to go on and pitch in, pick up a few, chip bag, pop cans, coffee cups, whatever that's out there and that's blowing around from time to time. But the people who did come on, I thank you very much. And I thank Phil's Pumping as well as Tim Hortons for doing that. I also want to take the opportunity to thank our Public Works Manager, Mark Harris, for looking at students and arranging them to work weekends and picking up garbage. It really makes a difference, Mark. So thanks for that. And I see them out on the weekend and, going along in our own ditches and, bush lines. And there were a lot of bags of garbage that they picked up. I see them all over the place. So thanks for that. And that's really good use of our students' time and switching around to different times and giving them the opportunity to pick it up. So it makes our community cleaner. And we're recognized for that. People drive through our community and comment about how clean it is. So just want to encourage more people to get out and get involved. Councillor Lake?
And I wonder too if there's a connection for, I feel like I'm picking on the student council all the time, but I know for a fact that the grade 12 graduates who require 40 hours of volunteer work are almost always struggling. That might be a nice place. It's a short window. It's a
Yeah,
couple
so
hours.
it's a day, like,
That we didn't sell it in the high school at all. I didn't see any information on it in the high school at all, but
Yeah.
that might be a nice place where they can get their hours and
yeah, that's an easy 4 to 6 hour day,
yeah,
Um,
they only need 40,
yeah,
20.
20 this year.
well, it's gone down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, COVID probably, COVID
So-
COVID hours.
You
You have to
can
know a volunteer, you have to meet a volunteer, then you're good.
Well, thanks for that. Yeah. That program's been in place for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's still a struggle, even every 4 years to get the youth engaged to do the 40 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. And do you remember when the program was initiated, it was about getting youth interested in volunteering, so we were having problems with our volunteer systems and throughout Ontario. And that was the idea, get them engaged, maybe there'll be volunteers in the future. That's probably not a high percentage.
And it's not trouble for everyone. Mitchell Hatton had 1,000 hours or
Yeah, yeah,
something
for
when he
sure.
graduated.
first semester.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not a criticism, it's just
Yeah.
getting people engaged, right? No different than the pitching day, like, come on out, how about in your own community? That's just a nice to, thank you. So thanks to Phil, thanks to our town staff and continue to look at cleaning up the community as well. Okay, with that being said, anything else? No? Okay, great. I have a motion here to adjourn at the hour of 4:16 PM. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week. Moved by Councilor Lake, second by Councilor Bounds. All in favor? Great, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good evening. Have a good week.
Yeah.